What's going on? I'm Cole. It's Friday, so you know what that means. We are going to be talking about my most anticipated comics for April 13th, 2022. And if you want to hear what I'm looking forward to, make sure you stick around through this. My most anticipated comics for April 13th, 2022. And thanks for hanging out through the intro. For those of you who have seen this segment before, this is going to seem a bit repetitive because I do this every single issue, but I have to let it be known for all of the new people that come by. So for those of you who do not know, I use the site League of Comic Geeks. This is a site I use to figure out what is on my pull list. I use it to figure out which books I am reading this week and what I'm going to talk about. So the one thing I like to preface in this is that sometimes League of Comic Geeks is not always up to date. The cool thing is if you look at the books though, you can check out every single cover that's coming out pretty much. But yeah, sometimes they're not fully up to date with what we see. Maybe it's due to paper shortages or something like that, but that is a site that I use. I want to let you know so that you can use it too to help provide that. But when I'm making this video to come out on a Friday, sometimes either with delays or paper shortages that we are currently dealing with, I might not have all my information correct. So I just want to let you know so that if you go to your comic shop and they're like, do we have this book? And they're like, no, that comes out next week. You're not like, that Cole from the YouTubes lied to me. You'll at least know that I was trying my hardest not to lie to you. And a little bit of house cleaning here. Bearded Comic Bro and I are still doing our image cover challenge. So if you have not joined it, we would love to have you join that with us. This is something that we really enjoy seeing what the community has to offer and what their favorite covers are. All you have to do is provide 10 image books. I know we've had some newcomers. I'll probably have the playlist up here. So if you don't have any idea what this is, you can at least see our videos. I think we have at this point maybe like 12 to 13 other people have joined us, which is really awesome. We really appreciate all of you community members who come in and join us in this fun, because one of the reasons I know when Bearded started this, he just wanted people to come in and show off their covers, and I really enjoyed it enough that I was like, let's try and promote this thing. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So if you have 10 image covers and you would like to join us, we would really appreciate that. Make sure you tag either of us on Instagram if you make a post, and yeah, we'll promote the heck out of it. We'll add you to the playlist, and yeah, join us in this. It is a lot of fun. Also, if you are here, make sure that you leave a comment down below. If we get to 15 comments on these videos, I normally include an extra book at the end of the month in the giveaway. And just by leaving a comment, you get an entry. So every issue of this that I come out with through the month, if you leave a comment down below, you have a chance to win a pile of books that came out this month. All right, and now we're to that segment where I talk about either one of my favorite covers or some spec recommendation that I have. And I look through this week, I don't see anything that just screams out to me that you need to get this book. And, you know, just gliding through some of the books that I like, I didn't really have a cover either that really screamed out to me either. But the one thing that I will mention is that Black Panther issue number 5 comes out this week, and it is the second appearance of Tosin. So as a lot of people know, he came out, obviously in issue 3, and there was a lot of spec about this. People are saying, could this be the next Miles Morales? We don't know. But if you missed that number 1 and, maybe you got a second print, but you want something else, the second appearances usually tend to be the next big book. It kind of depends on the character, but sometimes the second appearance is worth more money if you get it in first print than it will be in, a second print of the first appearance. Once again, I don't necessarily think this is the greatest of spec recommendations, but if you miss that first appearance and you want to have something, having a second appearance around is always good. If this is to a Miles level character, this second appearance is still going to be good. If this is, a next Miles Morales level character, that second appearance is still going to be worth some money. So while I don't think this is something that you should invest in like 10 to 20 copies of, if you can grab a copy off the shelf, I think this is something you can set aside, and who knows, if Tosin becomes what people think they're going to become, this is a good book to have. So let's get to what you actually care about if you are here. And that's what I'm most anticipated to read this week. So the first book coming up is a book that has been on a pretty big hiatus. This is a book that I actually read during quarantine, like the beginning of quarantine, and it is Farmhands. And Farmhand number 16 is coming out. This is a very good story that follows this family that is able to kind of create and grow body parts, from the ground. It turns out there's a lot of crazy stuff. There's some horror elements in it. If you read the book Chew, it is the artist of that, which is Robert Gullery. He is the writer, the cover artist, and the artist of this book. And yeah, it has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed picking this book up during quarantine, and I'm excited to see where it has to go after this. While 16 is definitely not a great issue to pick up, I'm pretty sure the first 3 trades are already on Hoopla, so if you have that, you can just get them there or check out your local library if you want to give this a read. Next up, we have Naomi Season 2, Number 2. I have been digging Naomi since Brian Michael Bendis came to DC and created this character. I know that I've mentioned the Justice League in this segment, and I mainly was picking those issues up just because they had Naomi in it. I wasn't hugely a fan of that, but Naomi is a character that I really like and really resonates with me. So I am excited to see what we have more in season 2 for Naomi. If you haven't already, there has been a great, or the show's been pretty good. I still haven't finished it just because I am behind on some of my TV shows, but the first trade of this, I highly recommend going in. I think personally it is up there with the Walmart Batman for the best things that Brian Michael Bendis has done while at DC. And yeah, this issue will be guest starring Hot Girl of the Justice League. This next one is something that I haven't seen before, but it is going to be called Image Number 1, and this is a series premiere that celebrates the 30th anniversary of the first Image comic with a year-long parade of all new stories from some of the biggest and best names in comics. That is a quote from the blurb. That is not something that I created, but this one has a story from Kyle Higgins, as you can tell by the cover. It's got Radiant Black on it, so I'm guessing there's some Radiant Black stuff. There's stuff by Jeff Johns in this. There's Brandon Flesher. There's Wyatt Kennedy. There's a new original comic strip that's going to be done by Scotty Young and Delkin Chevley's upcoming Old Dog series will be in there too. So there are a lot of cool stuff in this. I don't know exactly. I think this is 48 pages. It is a cover price of $5.99. So it is a little bit more expensive, but I think this is a pretty cool thing where if you're kind of like lost in the world of Image, this could be fun. I don't know if you read Skybound X. I feel like this is going to have not necessarily those same vibes, but there were little, small anthologies of stories. I think we're going to get a lot of that, but there's also going to be just full stories in here. They're only probably 12 pages or whatever, but I still think that sometimes, depending on the writer, you can get a really good story in 12 pages. This could be a total flop for you, and it might even be for me, because I know like some of these books like Robin 80-year anniversary was a total flop for me. Some of this could happen, but I'm also betting with Image, there's probably going to be a lot of good stories, and who knows what you can see in this. Next up, we have Kaiju Score, Steal from the Gods, number 1. This is the second arc of Kaiju Score. I really, really loved Kaiju Score. So if you didn't read Kaiju Score, the main concept of this book is that there is a guy who no one wants to do heists with anymore, and he has to bring together like the most ragtag team of heisters to do a heist that involves kaijus in the city. So they have to like somehow convince, like they don't convince it, but they have to work with the kaijus to help them rob a picture out of this museum during when the kaijus show up. So randomly at any period of time, the kaijus will come and everyone leaves the city and they try and rob this museum during it. I thought the book was really fun. For a book, for me, this is definitely not a book that usually I would get into. I'm not super into like kaiju in a funny, lighthearted way, I guess. Like I did like Kaiju Max a lot, which is kind of serious for, unlike what the art would tell, but Kaiju Score was so much fun. It was probably one of my top 5 Aftershock books that came out last year. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. I know that the first book was optioned by Sony Pictures, so who knows? Maybe we'll start to see this in film on the big screen, or even in a TV show. I think this could be pretty good, depending on how much money they're willing to invest in it to make the kaijus look cool. And the final book on this list is another image book. It's almost like I put 3 image books in this list just so I could talk about the image cover challenge one more time, even though I already mentioned it. I actually didn't. It just happened to play that cards right. But what do we have here? It is A Town Called Terror, #1. This is written by writer Steve Niles, which I'm pretty sure he did 30 Days of Night. So, a lot of good horror chops here. I have kind of been like, I feel like there's been a lot of horror books that have came out, and like excluding things like Hotel for me, a lot of them, and Ice Cream Man is good too. There's been a lot of like kind of hit or miss stuff. I'm hoping that this book just gets in and it terrifies me. It looks pretty cool. The cover alone, I think Tony S. Daniels did that. The cover looks fantastic. I'm really excited to see what this happens. I've not really read into this at all because I just want to dig into a new horror that hopefully scares the poop out of me. But let me know what you think. Are you a fan of horror? Are you not a fan of horror? And if so, what do you think is the best format for horror? Because me personally, I think horror movies seem to just catch it the best. I know with actual horror novels, they never seem to scare me because maybe my imagination isn't good enough to make the things as scary as they should be. But I think that, comics kind of have a little bit of that own world where, I don't have to visualize what the monster looks like. You're letting me know what the monster looks like. But that's the final book, A Town Called Terror from Image Comics. And those were my 5 most anticipated comics for New Comic Book Day, April 13th, 2022. Let me know, did I miss something that you're most anticipating? Do you have a cover pick that you just love? Let me know. If you also have some spec recommendations, was my Black Panther pick not great? Let me know. Another thing I want to quick shout out here is that 2 of my friends, War Machine Punisher, I'll link up there. He is a 100 subscriber giveaway. Make sure you get in on that and, help promote that. And also 22 Comics has a 250 subscriber giveaway. I know that he is planning on doing that giveaway on a live stream. I think April 18th. I could be wrong. I know that if you subscribe to his channel, he has a video where he talks about that. So make sure you check that out too. But yeah, I just, if you've got some people too that you think that maybe I would like, let me know down below and I will subscribe to your friend and give their videos a watch too. But this is what I am most anticipated for. As always, I'm Cole. Thanks for stopping by and peace. My most anticipated comics for April 13th, 2022.